Hey, it's Double R here, and right now we are in Greenpoint. We are speaking with Miss Ventura. How are you today?
I'm fine.
Well, you're not really fine.
No, not
You're
really
not really
fine. But my health is fine.
Nice.
But, I'm very concerned about the situation.
Okay. Now let's talk about HPD and how they have impacted your life with the taking over of your building. How long have you been living here and owning here?
I am a shareholder for 24 years
Okay. Now you're born where?
in Dominican Republic.
Okay. Now the taking over with HPD. How long ago did this start?
It was in 2017 that we received a letter saying that the building is going to in but you have to become update with the taxes. And we started paying, and we get into the agreement, and we become update with the agreement and the back taxes that we owe. And we still owe taxes, but we are into agreement.
Okay. Now let's take it a step at a time. Let's talk about your taxes that you've owned. If I can ask you, how much did you owe?
Right now it's like 35,000.
Okay.
But prior was 100 something, but we haven't paying.
Okay.
So through October 17 through May 18, we have paid 61,000 in taxes.
Why do you think they targeted you or your building for this takeover?
This is because this is an HDFC. Thus, everyone is a shareholder, six-family building. So I own an apartment, and each one owed its apartment. And we start with the water also. So that's the HPD says that because we owe water, so they transfer the building to a TPT program that they say third-party transfer. And the new owner now is a neighborhood restore. So we start fighting to see if we can get the deed back.
Okay. What type of age are we talking about? Are we talking about younger folks? Are we talking about older folks?
We have different, but we have like 4 seniors living here.
4 seniors?
Yes.
Okay. So they cannot afford to be displaced in any which way. Right.
Yeah.
And this is the heart of winter that we're talking about also. You know, we have freezing degrees outside, and it's not that easy to find a home anymore in Brooklyn. It's not easy at all.
No. No, and our maintenance is low because we are a low income people. So if they move us or they take out the building, so I don't know where we're going to go.
They're pushing out elders. They're pushing your family out of the building. Tell me about the process in which they started the paperwork.
They sent us a letter on July 17, saying that if we don't become 2017,
Okay.
saying that it's just a flyer. It was not a regular letter, nothing, just to put it on the door, the front door, saying that if we don't become update with the taxes, we're going to get into a third-party transfer.
Okay.
So that's why we went to the taxes and paid the rest of the money that we owe to become update, and also went to the water department. And the water department said that we have time to make a new agreement that they don't transfer buildings, they don't take out buildings, just the taxes. That's why I become update with the taxes first. And it was on July. And then on September, I received another flyer from neighborhood store saying that they are the new owner of the building.
And how did you receive that flyer?
You posted on the floor also.
Okay.
Posted on the door.
Door.
Posted on the door, and also that non-profit organizations and NICs that was helping us on all the meetings every month. Now they are the management of the building.
Wait. So you have a non-profit organization that stepped in. Are these people that you've known about before, or I mean, they're right across the street?
Yes.
But were you really involved with them on a regular basis?
Yes, all the meetings, all monthly meetings, we made it with them, or with the NICs. And they never told us how to do, how the steps to take to lower the taxes or to lower the water. They just said that we have to pay. You have to pay, but they never, show us and we lack of knowledge about that. We made the meetings over there for the last 3 years around, yeah. And
before then, you've haven't
No,
been involved with them at all.
no,
Okay.
no,
So
before.
what were you thinking when they said that they will help you? Were you thinking that's a good thing?
Yes, of course, because we didn't know nothing, about us. They just said that we have to pay it, and that's it. And they trying to help us to do the things right, but they didn't. They didn't at all.
Right.
So and now they become the management.
So
The organization that is supposed to help now is the management.
who have you been in contact with to try to help you get the building back?
We hired an attorney.
Okay.
Now, without money, but we have to hire an attorney so to help us because ourselves by ourselves we can't. So we need somebody is with more knowledge and to know the situation and can go to other places to help us. So we hired an attorney, Angeline Johnson. That's our attorney. That she's helping us, and we have a court hearing on next month, February 26th.
Okay. Now, did you get involved with any of your community representatives, any leaders?
I went and I spoke to my council member, Antonio Reynoso, and he says that I have to give him proof of everything that I have paid, and I gave to him all papers. He did nothing.
You did nothing.
No.
How long ago was this?
It was last year.
Wow.
Since last year. Yes. As soon I got the letter saying that the building is going to be transferred, I went over there many times to the office, and then I had a meeting with him directly. And after that, nothing.
Did he tell you that he'll try or anything like that, or he just put it by the wayside?
I don't know, because he signed, the council member, he signed to take us out of the building. So I don't know if he can do anything because he did that. I don't know
So that
if...
was actually on his desk. And
Exactly. So he did nothing. I'm sorry, but he did nothing. I saw my assembly member, Joseph Lenov. I went to his office with my attorney, our attorney. He says that he's going to try to help us. He didn't promise anything, but he's going to see what he can do.
Well, let's talk about when you paid your taxes. Remind me of the amount that you paid.
I started paying after I received the first letter from October 17 through May 18. So I have paid $61,000 in taxes.
Okay. Now you were believing that once you pay these taxes, you can now own your property, own your property again.
Exactly. That's why, because they said if I become update with the taxes, that's HPD said, so I don't going to be on the in-rent program.
Now, when you paid this money, was it applied directly to your bill?
No. I paid so I paid directly to them by phone and online. Okay. I was speaking with a representative from the Department of Finance, and also do it online or directly. Okay. And they take out the money from the bank, but it was not applied immediately. So it was applied, a few months ago. I don't know why, but I thought, that something happened that they didn't do. They didn't apply the money at the time that they have supposed to do.
So where was the money placed?
They took it. They took it because they took it from the bank account.
Right.
And then after that, and now 2 weeks ago, I received a check from them saying that it was not enough. That money was not enough to get the property from the in-rent program. Okay.
Now you've paid $61,000, and you said you got a check for
16.
For 16.
Yes.
Am I hearing this? 16, 16.
16.
And you paid $61,000, and you get a check for 16. Something's wrong here. Something's definitely wrong. Now, this isn't just happening to Ms. Ventura. This is happening to a lot of us, okay? A lot of people in Brooklyn, New York is affected by this HPD program. And Ms. Ventura, I just want to say thank you for having us here just to find out your story, because your story isn't rare. It's very common between what's going on here. So we just want to say thank you for inviting us into your home today.
Thank you. Thank you for your help.
So, Mr. Meadows, enlighten me on the purpose of HPD?
HPD is basically supposed to be in place to help people with low income to get affordable housing. But what we're finding right now with the third-party transfer program is that they're actually taking property, making people homeless in order to provide affordable housing, which is really ridiculous. And most of these people are, people of brown, black and brown, and they're just basically preying on them and taking their property without any warning.
Now, everyone I've spoken to is basically telling me they received notice by it being posted on their door, front door. There's nothing in the mail usually. There's nothing, no other phone call. Just, if the wind blows it, it blows it. Is that really the way it is?
Listen, this is a city. This is a business. And they know exactly how to run a business. But they also know how to get over on people when they need to get over on them. You don't just post stuff up on the door and just hope somebody sees it, or in this case, hope they don't see it, because that's what it is. They're banking on the fact that no one's going to see it, and whatever happens, the deadline or what have you is going to pass, and nobody's going to show up at court, and there you have it. They have the means to take your property, so they're not notifying. But one of the things that they failed to realize, or that they miscalculated, that there's people in this community who know their rights, and people with a voice, because people are saying, you know what, well, why are you talking? I'm talking because I have a voice. A lot of people are talking because they have a voice, because people out there don't know who to turn to. When they put their hands in Miss Saunders' pocket, they put their hands in the wrong pocket, because she is connected to the community, and because of that, that brought a spotlight to what was happening. Can you imagine how many people have been affected by this program before it got to Miss Saunders?
Now, what happens if you're not connected?
That's what I'm saying. Those people who were not connected, they became victims to HPD. This right here is what has accelerated gentrification. And all these politicians who are saying they don't know anything about TPT, let's be for real. It came across your desk. You had to vote on it.
Really?
So if you don't know about it, then you're doing a disservice to the people who voted you in.
Maybe they don't want to know about it.
They don't want to know about it now because the spotlight is on this program. So now the heat is on because we're turning up the heat. The heat is on, and now we're asking, who knew, when did you know, and why you didn't tell your constituents? HPD is affecting a lot of people in many different ways, not just private homeowners, but also buildings. Like they put you into the TIL program, which is the tenant interim lease program.
Anyway, yeah, I've been there for years. My son he done died. Everybody dead. Everybody that used to help me is dead. My mother is dead. Everybody dead but me. And I'm here for a reason. And I'm not going to let these people do me any kind of way without fighting back. And I don't want nobody else to do it. If I ain't going to do it, I'm 85, everybody else better stand up too. Yes. And I ain't scared of nothing. I ain't scared of nobody. I want my apartment back. I don't want only the apartment back. I want everything back. Now that I done found out how they putting themselves off as who they supposed to be. HDFC. I was HDFC. I can't understand why they want to just come in and rip off the building like that.
I'm here today on behalf of my building, 1197 Dean Street. Mm-hmm. That was taken away from me with the Wavercrest, between Wavercrest and Bridge Street management. Wavercrest management and Bridge Street Co-op, I think it is.
Okay. How long were you at that residence?
From 1996.
Yeah. And how did you become aware of the situation, the takeover situation?
They had sent a letter saying about to pay up on the building was default, and they had sent a letter to pay up
How many people live in that building? Is it one family or 6 unit?
6 units, six apartments.
And you were born where?
Me, I'm born in South America, Guyana. Neighborhood Restore first came in, and then followed by the Wafer Crest and Bridgeport, Bridge Street Management. Bridge Street Corp, I think is Corp. Yes.
Okay. So, what stage are you at right now with the process?
Well, I was told that they come in and they what the next move is to renovate the building. So then they said that they probably in renovating they would see how it is, that either they would move you out from there, and then when it's finished fixing, then they'll move you back. Lies, lies, lies. And they always try to take the opportunity to prey on seniors, because they know seniors are vulnerable. You don't know what the next step is, what they're going to do. And I hope that they do something that, that I would be able to live there until, and that it would go from like me to my children and grandchildren. Yes, that's my wish.
Now, on the streets of New York City, it's not easy, guys. I'm cold, all right? I'm very, very honest to you. I'm very cold out here, just standing around. But I have a young lady who's been on the streets of New York for a very long time, much longer than 5, 10, 20 minutes, more like probably months of being on the streets of New York City. Ms. Thomas Murchison, how are you feeling today?
I'm just tired, but it's a fight that we were that were put upon us, and so we're just here to let the city know that the TPT program, being a program that's helping residents, is fictitious. It's not true. I was made homeless by the TPT program.
All right, let's take it all the way back to when you became homeless. How did that happen?
Well, let's take it a little further back. I've been an owner of my property since 1995.
What's the address?
At 248 Madison Street. We're 248 Madison Street, HDFC, Housing Development Funded Corporation. But that was when I was first made aware there may be some problems in the building, simply because my mother passed away. But in 2016 was when we found out about the TPT program and the interim default foreclosures. That was after my mother's apartment was broken into by the new owners.
Do you know that for a fact?
Oh yeah, I know it for a fact, only because there was a police seal put on the property, on the apartment when my father passed away, because he died in the apartment. And so we were all kind of locked out of the apartment, and until I got a phone call that they were up in my mother's apartment. I showed up to the building. Of course, they were in there. They were knocking out walls. They removed her whole estate, taking everything that we owned from the estate. And that's when we were made aware of new owners at that point.
Did your parents want to send you to school and want you to do the right thing?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. See, this was meant for, like Mr. Caldwell said, generational wealth. They gave them basic education and just left them basically to their own demise, if you would say. So it's kind of like a setup for failure type of program. But the people were so bright during that time, they knew that this was going to be bigger than them and outlive them. So what they started doing was doing things like allowing new board members to come along. Like myself, when I was 19, I was able to become a board member and a shareholder and an owner. We had a 25-year time limit to actually have and maintain the property. These foreclosures that are coming in, they're coming in like at the 12th, the 11th hour. We're on our 23rd of 25 years. So we're 1 year and 6 months away from us having our own buying power. And what they've done had let us acquire all the equity up until that point, and now they're jumping in saying, okay, now you failed. None of that was for anything. Okay, and now your building is vacant, distressed, and abandoned.
Which is not.
Which is not at all. So this is how they're getting restraining orders and things. They're able to operate through the court systems because there was never an ideal in their format that we would be able to either resist or even question. And anyone right now who resists or even questions is being bullied by these nonprofit organizations.
Okay. Now, why your particular property? Is it that you owe taxes? Is it that it just looked like an ideal place that they would want to,
Well, I think what we need to make clear is that it's not one particular property that they're taking. So it's not like an, okay, your fault or your fault type of thing. It's an in-rim procedure. So this is something that's done at the city level, the council level, and the mayor's level. They make a decision for an area without even consulting us individually. They just say on their end, as far as financing is concerned, all of these properties owe us something. And based on that criteria alone, we're going to use this program, third-party transfer, which is for a vacant, abandoned, and distressed building, to deem these people's properties vacant, abandoned, and in distress, even though they are not. And the fraudulent part, where we're asking for a federal investigation, Robert Cornicky now is calling for a federal investigation. Eric Adams now is calling for a federal investigation because they're looking into the illegal activity that conspired throughout the process of this TPT program. So it's not a secret anymore that something happened and it was somewhat illegal. The illegal part we affirm is that in any situation that you talk to anyone of the HDFC, Brownstoners, the one thing we all hit upon is that there was a default judgment. And for me not to show up, or for her not to show up, or for him not to show up, it could be believable that we just did not do our due diligence. But for 600 and 700 properties, which what an in-rim proceeding is unbelievable. You know, so this is why we're asking for the forensic audit and the federal investigation. Because in order for us to get any redress, in order for us to get any type of resolve or to be made whole, the federal government must come in now and take care of this. Because with the mayor's affordable housing program, he gave all these liberties to these nonprofit organizations, along with Alicia Glenn, his affordable housing deputy mayor, okay, to go around all of the pit stops that would have stopped them. Okay, nonprofit organizations, they answer to someone. That's the Attorney General. If the Attorney General was not aware of this at all, when these properties were third-party transferred to these nonprofit organizations from the city, the Attorney General would have been the person that we would go to complain about how they're trying to displace us, throw us out, sick rats on us, bugs on us, not properly keep the place, turn the heat on in the summer, cause respiratory problems, cause high blood pressure problems, cause mold. We would be able to talk to the Attorney General about that. But because the mayor took control over this, along with Alicia Glenn, through the affordable housing program, they went around those safeguards. And this is how it happened. So when we say, well, how did all this happen to you? You guys must, this is impossible. So many places that you were supposed to be caught, even down to the council members. Our council members having a 45-day review of these in-rim foreclosures.
So, Mr. Dorsey, last time you spoke, you were currently going through the HPD process.
Yes.
Update me on what has happened since last time.
But I don't hear nothing from them. My lawyer called them, so we're still waiting to see what they're going to say. And then, but I want my building back. But a few of them was coming to my building. I tell them they come in the wrong place because I've been working in my building since 45 years. So you just can't come in and work like that, and then I got to give you my place.
Yeah.
The main thing is I don't hold the money. I want to pay my bill. Then they tell me I hold them $30,000.
Now, remind me of the address.
The address is at 373 Rockaway Parkway.
And again, you were born?
I've been born to Haiti, but I'm a senior citizen here. Okay. And then I've been get my citizenship here. I've been American since 1995.
So you've been contributing to this economy?
Yes, sir. Yeah. Okay, I've been working since 1970 up to now.
Yeah. Retiree.
I've been retired since let's say about since 10 years ago. Mm-hmm. Okay, right now I'm 70. Not 10 years, 5 years. Mm-hmm. Okay, I'm 70 now.
Is it still as stressful as it was?
Very stressful. I can sleep. I'm always thinking, what they going to take my building or not? What they going to do? Because I'm not going to give up.
Okay. And I'm not going to give up on you fighting this situation. Of course, we're just staying updated since the last report. Speaking for Mr. Dorsey, any last words before we?
But I hope I get my building soon. Mm-hmm. I hope I get my building to get my jet back.
Yeah.
from them because they can't just work like that and take my place. It is not fair. I want to pay my bills. If I don't pay, it's different. I want to pay my $30,000. And then they say, they just transfer my name to TPT. Who's the TPT? I don't know where the TPT come from. Because I've been my place since 1977. I buy my place. I was a young guy. Yeah. I was 27 years old when I buy the house.
Hard working.
Yes, right now I'm 70 years old.
So there it is, another senior being affected by the HPD program. So we have community representatives. We have a community representative right here, Mr. Caldwell. How are you today?
Fine, good, thank you.
Good. Now, you've heard of this HPD situation that's going on all throughout Brooklyn. I mean, gentrification is in full swing because of this. How do you feel about that?
I think it's a highway robbery.
Yeah.
That's what I really think. You know, I found out about the TPT in August of 2018. And the way that I discovered it was through the city was taking our vice president's home, Miss Marlene Saunders, yes. And that's how I got involved. Right. I knew nothing about no TPT or anything until then.
No. We actually covered that story, and you know, it seems as if everything went her way. She's got her home back. She's grateful to the community leaders. She's grateful for you for stepping in and helping her with the situation. But there are people who don't have that connection. There are people who don't have that. Who are not involved with the community like you are. You know, Brooklyn, there's so many of us that's getting affected now.
You know, well, you know, in terms of Ms. Saunders, you know, when we got involved with them, the agreement was that I would work with them, and then we would all come together as a team to look out for everyone else because we knew that, you know, they was just a tip of the iceberg. We knew that it was going on in other parts of our community also. So when we got involved, we said, once she get hers back, we're going to assist everybody else that's running into this situation.
Now, there are community representatives that's heard about this for a long time. There are community leaders that's probably signed off on a couple of agreements to proceed.
Oh, absolutely. You know, when we got involved, that's why we started learning that, you know, the paperwork goes across the city council members' desks that represent that particular area. So yes, to answer your question, yes, they know about it, but did nobody take no action to stop it?
Right. So moving forward, how are you going to be involved with it?
Well, moving forward, I thank God that I know how to navigate the system. I thank God that I know a little bit about politics. And I thank God that the Lord used me for a servant to be an advocate for the ones that don't have anyone to advocate for them. And for someone that's just going to step up to the plate and just tell it like it is and let the chips fall where they may. Because the politicians, especially the black politicians, are very aware of what goes on in our community, and they're not coming to black and brown skinned people to help them with their situation. Because all it takes is for them speaking up. That's all it takes. You know, we talk about, I want to be this, I want to be that, I want to have power, but then when you get to power, you forget about, you know, the people that live in your district. We got to call it like it is, and we have to call people that look like me, we have to call them out too. Here we have Letitia James as Attorney General for the state of New York. We have Hakeem Jeffries, that's number 5 in Congress when there's 435 members. He's number 5. We have our council members, people that have power and are living the Martin Luther King dream and not helping their own peoples out. I think there's something horribly wrong with that picture. They need to step it up.
And you're one that's definitely helping people because you are the president of the 77th Precinct Community Council.
Yes, I am. I have been for going on to 22 years now, and what we see with this TPT is injustice, and we want to make sure it's corrected, and we believe that it will.
One of the elders that we've spoken to had their house, their home, their property taken, and it went into the hands of a non-for-profit organization. Are these organizations helping, or are they hurting?
Well, you know, first of all, nonprofit organizations are tax exempt in terms of the in terms of the federal government. And being that they are have tax exempt from the state, and they receive their paperwork, 501c3 status through the federal government shouldn't be investigating them, because their job is to help advocate for those that are in need. That's the reason why they're tax exempt. You have places like Nick's, Bridge Street, and these folks are supposed to be looking out and make sure they protect these people's residents and make sure they stay in their homes. But they're not doing that. Why? Because they want the money. That's why they're not doing it. And they're taking advantage of hard-working Americans that all the thing they're trying to do is make sure they keep a roof over their head, for their mothers, for their children, so they can pass this generational wealth on to them. And they're not doing that. Personally, I think they all should burn in hell.